Time for our very favorite part of the show, Disgrace of the Week. Patty, as always, start us off.
I think this might be my most frequent disgrace this side of Ward Churchill. Mother Nature. This week in Colorado, you have the fires, you have the floods, you have the mudslides, things that are fatal, that are the drought that is ongoing. It is just a really, really tough time all across the West. And my one piece of advice is, even if your spouse is a DA, do not go light unattended fires.
Here, Eric.
Brutal. I'm going to go back to the vaccine issue, but a different particular take. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, acting obviously on the president's behalf, acknowledged that the White House and federal agencies are really cooperating with Facebook and other social media countries to weed out quote-unquote misinformation. No one wants misinformation. God knows no one wants misinformation about vaccines. But the First Amendment means something, and there is a dangerous risk to getting the federal government and the epicenter of the federal government, the White House, involved in deciding what constitutes information versus misinformation. This is a slippery slope, and we should not head down it, and the Biden administration should know better.
Yeah, I don't want any White House deciding what the First Amendment means. Penn.
You know, just as the city acknowledged that it was incompetent to manage the debacle that was the Great Hall development at DIA, it ought to acknowledge that trying to put together a head of urban design this late in the administration is just an accident waiting to happen.
Ed.
The conviction 1 week ago of Mark Redwine for killing his son was badly needed, especially for all of those who are parents and care about these things. But there needs to be more questions asked about why he was killed on a court-ordered visit against the son's wishes and the mother's wishes. And we should do an investigation to find out why that was ordered and whether somebody should be held accountable.
Here. Time to say something nice about somebody. Patty.
The return of cultural institutions like the main branch of the Denver Public Library. And this weekend, City Park Jazz, which is going to honor El Chapultepec and Freddie Rodriguez Sr., who passed away early on from COVID. That should be a great event.
Eric.
Speaking of the First Amendment, I'm going to say something nice about the person sitting right next to me, Ms. Calhoun here. This should be obvious, but to too many, it's not obvious. The investigators into the whole Tay Anderson mess around the Denver School Board reached out to Westward, among other publications, wanting to know their sources of particular information. Obviously, Patty, as the head of Westward, said no thank you, or thanks but no thanks, or go pound sand, or whatever the essence of the conversation was. But you don't reveal your sources, and this investigative firm that's being paid very nicely by DPS should have known better.
Penn.
A Denver native who's a graduate of George Washington High School and CU Law School is getting one of the highest honors. Retired Judge Gary Jackson is being inducted into the Hall of Fame of the NBA, the National Bar Association, which is the bar association of African American lawyers around the country. A well-deserved honor.
Here. Ed.
Some 36 Coloradans will represent the state at the Olympics the next 2 weeks, but Zero Shoes of Broomfield will also be there as it's the official shoe of the artistic swimming and archery teams. Take a look and see how they grow with this.
The official shoe of the archery team. Man, that is cool. I love the Olympics. I will join in to say something nice. It's a fun birthday week. My sister-in-law Corinne's birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday, Corinne. And my dad's birthday is next Tuesday. Happy birthday, Dad, from Favorite Kid. Don't worry, Joseph and Gina watch the show very rarely, so that's good.